Okay, so I guess it's about time that we talk about the skeleton in the closet. How my channel actually grew was because of minimalist videos back in 2018. I made this Hoarder to Minimalist video. I published it for myself. I went on holiday, I came back and I had 2,000 views. I was 18 at the time, and the thing is, I used minimalism as a way to gain control of my life again. So I grew up in a little apartment and it was very crowded with stuff. I had a lot of stuff. I didn't really get a lot of gifts and such, but I just inherited a lot of stuff from family members and friends. One of my family members died. I got all of her clothes and I was like 14, 15 when I got these clothes. And I had no sense of identity. So I didn't know if it was pretty, if I liked it or not. My mom was very opinionated. So I just listened to her instead of myself. And I had such a hard time parting with things because the idea of getting new things if I needed them was very foreign. I was like, there's no way I'll ever get a new pair of jeans if I give away these. So I was very hoarding and I just kept everything because, as I said, I didn't really get a lot of clothes and I also struggled a lot with agoraphobia and such, so I didn't ever leave my house and go shopping with my friends or anything like that. So the only way I got clothes and got things and possessions was from inheriting it from other people. And so I just hold tight on everything. But then when I turned 15, I started looking into minimalism and I started trying to downsize, and it was really hard because, again, everything was really confusing at that time in my life. And so this was just sort of me trying to deal with a symptom, but I thought it was the problem. It took me many years to downsize all the stuff I had. I got a lot of rude comments on the video saying how could you spend this much time? How did you have all that stuff? This is disgusting. I was 14, 15 in those videos. I didn't go out and buy them things. Those are things other people have thrown at me that I am not allowed to part with. My parents wouldn't let me part with it and I didn't know how to part with it. I remember I got really sad and felt really ashamed from those comments and I stopped talking about minimalism. I stopped talking about decluttering. I didn't publish anything else. I haven't even answered the comments on the video. I just left it there. I just left it alone. Since then, I've moved, so now I live in a different apartment, and when I moved, I parted with so much stuff. I saw it as a great opportunity to just part with everything. I have very strong association. I associate things very deeply with stages in my life and with moods in my life and with types of me in my life. So I wanted to just get rid of everything that didn't actually bring me joy. And this is when right before we moved, I found the life-changing magic of tidying up. And that's the one method I really fell in love with, actually, genuinely. And it made a lot of sense to me. People would be like, okay, but my toilet paper doesn't bring me joy. Why would I keep it then? Should I just throw it out? And I'd be like, that's a peculiar question, because it's aren't you happy that you have toilet paper? I would be happy, so I would keep it. It's such a weird perspective. I didn't really understand people's counter arguments to keep things that spark joy. I don't understand why people have to complicate things so much. And so I would use the does this bring me joy thing, and more in a connecting to myself and my feelings, and also the identity of self that I wanted to create. So I would put things in my hand and I'd be like, does this represent the identity I want to have? With clothes especially. And it would be really easy to say no, with things as well. So I have kept a few, this is not mine, but I kept a few possessions in a box that kind of has good stories connected to them, and I do go and look through them sometimes, and it's really important for me to have stimuli triggers because I struggle with my memory, but I can't have them present in my day-to-day life all the time, so I need to put them in a box, a little sparkly box, and put it in the closet, because I can't be reminded of it every single day, but I don't want to throw them out, and that's okay. And so I got rid of a lot of clothes, and I got to a point where I realized I was actually lacking where less had gotten into a little too little, and so I started adding in. I think it's really easy to, if you subtract, it's easy to add in. But I didn't add in with new things because I hate buying new things. But I got close to my friends and I would figure out my style of choice from the clothes I got from my friends. And the bar of like getting rid of those things weren't as high because I knew it was constantly coming in new things. I hadn't paid for them. Some was just straight up like old, like white clothes turn really yellow and stuff. So I'd just be like, thank you, but goodbye. And, you know, just pants that are too small and all that. And it was really helpful. I'm really thankful for my minimalist process. And even though I spent so many years getting to this point, I think the process was important because like there's no way I could have made those good decisions when I was like 14, 15 because I didn't have, first of all, I didn't understand what the frick was happening. I had other things in my life that was taking way more attention. Like if you're in danger, you can't make good decisions. So, and getting rid of everything just to get rid of everything also isn't helpful at all. It's the process of looking at a single item and practicing, knowing whether it's something you like, something you adore, something you appreciate having in your life, or whether it's something you can let go. And it's a skill, and it's a super good skill to have. It's important because you can use it with relationships, your relationship to other people. Whereas now if I meet someone, I'm like, they're a nice person, but there are certain things about them that makes me need to have them on a distance. And just knowing that instead of constantly being like unsure of my own values and stuff like that, where I'd be like, I just like accept everything. Now I can tell immediately. It's like someone is sitting on my shoulders being like, that's a red flag, that's a green flag, oh, that's a green flag. Like it's really helpful in that sense. Also in hobbies, where I would be like, oh, that's a whole other topic. Moving on to hobbies then. I had so much craft supplies, but a lot of it was really shit. So I love painting, but I had really shit brushes, so I didn't like painting. Like I like to be how do I phrase that? I love doing art and painting, but I didn't like sitting down painting because I had such bad art supplies. And so I realized, I was like, the quality isn't good, like quantity doesn't matter. I'd kind of decided, I made up my mind, like I do acrylic painting, I do water painting, but I wasn't gonna do these like the core crafts and stuff because I like the process of doing it, but I didn't like the clutter they created. I really didn't. I didn't put them in my window ceiling and be like, oh, that's so cute, you know, like I just hated it. I hate to like clutter. This one brings me way more joy than a little toilet roll, but would do, you know. And I just decided that, and when I had less stuff, it was less stuff to crowd through. Once I got like the urge to paint, I'd just be like, and start, instead of being like, where is that, oh my god, there's so much stuff, oh, I have so much paint, I don't even know where to start. And limiting your choices is so helpful. For my personality, it's so helpful. I wouldn't want to have access on all the paint in the world because it would paralyze me, frankly, and I would never paint. And this, so much dust. Ugh. Same with color pencils and coloring books. So I'd flip through and be like, every time I color in this coloring book, I just get like nauseous and I don't like it and it makes me irritable. Let it go, you know? And I would throw away because everything was like such like guilt-ridden. I'd be like, because I grew up, if I wanted something, I could wish for it for my birthday, but I wish for color pencils and they would be really like shitty. And so there's like a lot of like quantity over quality. And I also my mom would buy clothes for me always, so I would never go to the store and actually choose what I wanted, or if I was with her in the store, she would choose for me. And so if I got new clothes, I held on to them like they were like gold, even though I didn't like them because it was just like something else. And maybe it was cool, like what do I know? I seriously didn't know anything. And I would also get makeup. I remember I got makeup from my makeup artist on a movie I was in, and I'd held on to that makeup for like 3 years, even when it had gone bad, because my mom was so against makeup and me using makeup and me using lipsticks and all that. Or I would get like a shaver from my aunt and I would hold on to it like it was gold because my mom was so against me shaving my legs. Like I had very little like my own choices. She would always choose my style and it would always be very chaotic, like patterns and all that. So I didn't know what I like. I didn't know what I liked at all. And when I got my grandma's clothes, I would just wear my grandma's clothes to school thinking it was pretty, you know, like I had no clue because I had never been able or allowed to like practice and figure it out myself. I also had like a severe like dissociative episode, so it's just like I remember being 11 and then I was 15, so the time where you would usually like adapt to your new body like slowly and like figure out your style, I wasn't there, you know, I was too busy having like anxiety. So I just woke up one night and I was like, like a 15-year-old teenager. So that normal process of like figuring out and creating your like personal style and all that, I wasn't there for it. I have a lot of clothes now, but I don't really mind, and a lot of the clothes are for my friends, and I go through them regularly. I haven't in a while now because I've just been really content, which is a nice feeling, because I always had that like search and that drive to always declutter as like a coping mechanism, or almost like a defense mechanism, instead of like dealing with an actual problem. Whereas at one point I felt more at peace with how much I had decluttered, because I knew the extremes. Like I knew where I got to the point where I had to, instead of subtract, I had to add. And so since I have reached that extreme, I now know that I'm at a good place with my things. And I always have to do that with everything, like even with food, like veganism, I go like whole food vegan, and then that's too extreme. So instead of subtracting, I add, and then I find like a good middle way. That is how my brain works. I always have to go to either extremes and then find a middle way. So minimalism has really helped me with my creative hobbies like painting, and also apps or like social media. Like I had to go to an extreme where I deleted everything, and then I figured out I wanted to be on some. And same with TV series. I'm very conscious of what I consume. If I like a series, I watch it over and over again. Whereas when I go to film festivals, I'm open for the most things. That's important to note, because it's not subtracting from my life outside, like on film festivals or in the cinema or anything like that. But at home, what I watch on Netflix and what I watch on YouTube, I am really conscious about, because I know it affects me quite a bit. I adopt very easily the emotions, themes, characters, personalities. I adopt them very easily, so I have to be careful what I watch, and also my mood. So it's just like learning to know getting to know yourself, and yeah. But I love the idea of not minimizing, because that's wrong, but it sounds very subtractive. But I love the idea of limiting my choices a little bit and streamlining a little bit without getting too extreme. I know I'm not going to be happy with 2 pair of jeans and 2 tops, and I love having more than 2 pajamas, because I know that it depends on my mood. It depends on the temperature, you know. As long as I like them, as long as I like the things I have, for me, it doesn't matter. But it depends on your personality. And then we have books. I used to keep a lot of books because I was like, I will read them. But I had so many books, I was never going to read them. I thought owning a lot of books was wealth. But I realized it was just taking up space and just making me more scatterbrained. And so I would take, of course, my favorite books and just keep pile. Then I'd be more like trying to read some of the books I wanted to keep, and I quite quickly realized it was just not gonna, like I wasn't ever gonna read them. And then there were the books I just kept out of because they had been gifts or, you know, anything like that, and gave it away. And books was a long process, but extremely helpful. So now I only have like books that means a lot to me. And I mean, seriously, your life changes when you go from having crowded, overwhelming amounts of possessions to having only things you need, love, appreciate, like around you. It's not going to heal you completely, but it's going to be a big step, and especially since it's a long process. I know, what's her name? Marie Kondo says to do it all in one. Maybe after a while, but at first you have to practice your skill of knowing who you are and who you want to be, and keep the things that, if you want to paint more, then look at what paint supplies you have. I'm all looking there when I talk about painting, because I have my painting supplies here. So here we go, you know. I can show you my room. I just want to note that this isn't, I share a kitchen, so, but let's go to my room. You come in, I have my instruments hanging on my wall. I have my bed and a corner of my things, and I keep my supplies easily accessible, so I see them. Out of sight is out of mind, and so it's important to keep them there. I have my wall, I have my plants, I have my piano and my paintings. And this is all the books I have now. This is the amount of books that I've kept. And together with my coloring books, I have tried the just clear counters and tables and all that, but out of sight is out of mind for me. So I keep my lotions and essential oils and perfumes here so that I use them every single day, and it really helps. And under my bed, so here is under my bed. This is unfiltered, by the way. I didn't declutter anything before I showed you. So I have my donor pockets because they make me really happy. I have my scrapbook papers, my diary, all my electronics, and here is my, I have to stop and think there. it's called a closet. And it is really messy now because, as I said, I didn't declutter to show you. I have all the dresses and stuff, and I go through this regularly because usually this is the things I don't use as much because again, out of sight, out of mind, so I forget. I have empty notebooks and stuff, my little horse, because it makes me really happy. And I have some clothes here, that's for summer, that's why they're there. My violin. Here is my stuff. Just to say, I would take this out regularly and fold it again. And it is a little bit tight in there now, so I probably have to go through it soon. Say, for example, pants. I need to have a lot of different pants based on how I feel and bloating and whatnot. And this is just like, we're just coming out of winter, so this looks like a whole bunch, but it's because I just pushed everything in there because it's so huge, sweaters and stuff. Here I have tops, and this is really full now, again, because I have some really thick like winter clothes in here. So this is like all my tops and singlets and shirts for all the 4 seasons. And I'm telling you, because it's different if you live in a country with 2 seasons. I live in a country with 4, like maybe even more. So this is everything. Like this is, you know, what I wear on those extremely hot days to what I wear on during winter, you know. It's gonna take up a lot of space, but it has gotten a little bit full just because I have received some clothes from my friends. So I have like my socks, and it's just like, what do you do? See, because there's my wool socks that take up so much space. So, and during summer, I will pack this away, you know. It's just that we've just been in winter, and winter clothes are thicker. And here I keep my woolen underwear and stuff. So that's, again, you know, see, like this would be, I take this away in summer. I'll give you an update when summer comes around. I wouldn't know if I would choose to. I don't have a lot of shoes. I live in a country with 4 seasons, so I am going to need winter shoes and I am going to need flip-flops, but I have never understood the need of owning 5 pair of flip-flops. I will use my like pink pair of flip-flops until they are dead, you know, and then I get new ones. Same with jackets. Like I will only keep jackets that I use and that it's like okay, and you know, I just don't have a lot of jackets and shoes. I do have a lot of scarves and hats and stuff, so we are all really different, but yeah. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up, comment down below, subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye everyone.